Cogwin, hello.
Am I on the internet? Are we on? Hey! Hello everyone, welcome to Adventurers Wanted. My name is Chris, I will be your DM for the evening, and welcome to the second of our home game live shows, trying out something a bit different with cameras and microphones in someone's flat instead of in a room with an audience, where we would normally have a baying room full of fans. We will simply make do with our stage manager Chloe quietly clapping in the corner. That's what's There we go, yeah.
Clapping!
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. We will be having live shows in theatres again from next year. We have a regular slot at the Rosemary Branch, where we'll be on the first Wednesday of every month, apart from January, where the first Wednesday is the 1st of January.
We're there on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. Ugh. Sorry. Tuesdays. First Tuesday of every month. I am so sorry. Cheers. And the first Tuesday of this year is the 1st January, so it's not. It's on the 8th. So that'll be our first live show in the theatre, and we'll probably do some more of these. We're trying to play around with the ideas of what we can achieve. Anyway, without further ado, let us dive into the adventure and say hello to all of our players. Those of you who've seen the live shows will recognise them. They are the other half of the team that you saw yesterday, minus, unfortunately, Richard, who has been made busy today through a work opportunity he couldn't turn down, which, you know, that's fine. Can't say no to that. So, starting on the left, could you please give your name, your pronouns, your character's name, their pronouns, and maybe a sentence about them, where they're up to at this point in time.
Cool. Hi there, my name's Anna DeBrookie. I use she, her pronouns. Or her. Those pronouns. I'm playing Felicity Jones, and she also uses her, she, her pronouns. And, where Felicity's at right now is basically, I feel like most people in their lives in their mid-20s is kind of having a midlife crisis of her identity and what she's about. Yeah. She is a rogue.
Great.
I am Vixata. I also use she, her pronouns, as does my adorable swamp gnome cleric called Waywocket, who I've just apparently seen as lawful neutral.
Whoa!
Whoa!
It's been on the sheet this entire time, and yet...
Yeah, I've changed that one to chaotic. They are... she is a good faith double agent, as it were, at the Order, and currently... is continuing the mission to sort of take on both the Order and Catalu as a sort of another player on the chessboard.
Excellent.
Great. Hi, I'm Emma. I use she, her, as does my character Char, who is an Aasimar rogue/fighter. Char is, the last time we saw her, went on a date with Richard, which went, as probably everyone expected, poorly.
So good.
And is questioning the Order and what's actually going on. There's been a few things that popped up.
Mm-hmm.
She has red hair, as do you.
And they're both rogues. I mean, you know.
Scottish!
No, sorry, Anna. Felicity.
Because I have red hair. Waywocket doesn't have red hair.
Yeah, as bit.
Does Waywocket have hair?
She's got like some of it there.
Okay.
Straggly bits.
No, she's got hair, but it's quite. She has to keep it short because otherwise it gets burned off.
Nothing. Well, hello, I'm Tom Black. I'm playing Cogwin Spattlespan. Both he and I use he, him pronouns. Cogwin is a rock gnome, and while he comes across like a bit of a wizard in terms of how he operates, he prefers the term genius, because actually his magic comes from various exciting inventions he's put together, and no contraption of these is more impressive than the clockwork animated suit of armour that he's built for himself. That enables him to do all manner of things, including fly and fire fireballs and all things exciting like that. With a brain so vast and focused on that side of life, he has absolutely no awareness of anything else going on, really. So imagine his surprise in his last episode when, after their adventures came to an end, he put something together for the first time and realised that the Order may not be telling them exactly the truth about who's in charge of it. Somebody who they met there said, do you really think somebody important is in charge of this? And for the first time he realised maybe it was time to look up from his inventions and his workbench and maybe look around and see what else is going on. He shared that concern with Waywocket.
Correct, which leads us into today's adventure rather nicely. For those who haven't seen an Omen show before, just briefly, this is a kind of steampunky, kind of eldritchy game. The base story setup is that all 4 of the players and some others, and also some other neutral player characters that we meet throughout the adventure, are members of a group called the Viridescent Order. Viridescent is a fancy word for green. They are monster hunters that hunt throughout the multiverse from their home in the Nexus, a clockwork plane of existence that allows them to use a crystal in the centre of it to teleport through space and time to fight monsters all throughout the multiverse, often trying to track down and destroy creatures that are associated with Cthulhu, which Waywalker mentioned. Cthulhu not being Cthulhu, obviously. I mean, they're completely different things. It goes without saying, doesn't it? Yeah.
Don't sound similar at all.
No, of course. And their mission, at least as far as they're aware, the Order's mission is to track down and destroy Cthulhu throughout the known world. Although, as a couple of people have mentioned, these 4 characters in particular have been asking some questions, and that's what today we'll be dealing with. With that in mind, most of you, Felicity being the exception here, have started to put 2 and 2 together and realise that what you've been told about the Order, how it operates, what it is trying to do, might not be the whole picture of what is going on and what you have signed up for and potentially signed your lives away to. In that context, what would any of you be doing in downtime in the Nexus to try and work out what has happened here, what is going on? Alone, together, start me off wherever you
You
will.
came to my room.
I went to see Felicity at the end of last episode.
Then that's a good place to start. At the end of your tragic date with Richard.
It wasn't tragic, we just agreed that it wasn't going to work.
At one point during the date, the line, dating is watching the other person die, came up. I mean,
I did not say that.
no, it wasn't a good date. Let's just be very frank. It was not a good
Some
date.
of us had a great time.
Yeah, the ones who were there on a completely different mission had a wonderful time, but that's a different story. So, do you want to jump straight in from there? I'm perfectly happy with that to be the case.
If you want.
Felicity?
Yeah, just like one, dish, 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 dish. Like, just like, boom, hair is like really wild. Like there's just red hair everywhere, like a gown on. Just like, you know?
What are you doing?
Nothing.
She's crying.
Oh, like, come. Drags her into her bedroom, which is just really like a complete tip. Like a complete shit tip. Like it's basically like, you know, when you're at uni, but worse. And you can obviously tell that she was like trying to, like, there's little piles of books and stuff, like she has a weird order to this messy room that only she apparently knows how it works.
Can we establish as well, you are in the Nexus, as described, the Nexus as a clockwork plane of existence, so the walls, the floor, everything ticks, clicks, moves. So how does your room
Okay, cool.
fit into
That's
that?
Fine. Okay, cool. So the reason why it looks so messy is actually because obviously Felicity made it so that it would work if it was stationary, but unfortunately, so like, and unlike if on a cool winter's day, as the Earth matches a rotation, at one point, obviously, all the cogs must meet, and it becomes a very neat and tidy room. But unfortunately, everything gets shifted again and just becomes very, very messy.
Felicity being the newest member of the Order, so that makes sense.
You're crying. Do you want like a hot beverage?
Tea?
Sure, yeah, I have tea.
It's over there.
Yeah, it's gonna take you a minute. It'll come back round.
Rich is an arsehole.
Yeah, wait, who? Oh yeah, Squidward, right? Yeah, okay.
And I can't find
How-
Tanya
I'm guessing
or
you-
Cal. Nobody's here.
I'm guessing you had your date.
She's wearing like a velvet jumpsuit.
Oh, yeah,
That's-
amazing.
You look pretty nice.
Thank you.
You look
Thank
really.
you.
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
it'd be
What
great
happened?
if anyone I was dating was here.
Okay. Tea. That was it. She goes over and starts making tea.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Do you not want to talk about it? Do you like to just?
He's just really stubborn.
Okay. That
And
does not-
he said that being in a relationship is watching the other person die. Like, who thinks like that?
You're dead though, right? So that actually, you should have used that as like a comeback.
No, I'm alive.
Yeah, but like you're kind of dead and like.
No, I'm alive.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I go unconscious if we take off this necklace, but
It's kind of You know what? Fine.
You just don't take it off, all right?
No, of course not.
I'm alive.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Tea. Yes. It's just like slowly getting more puffy. It's just weird how it does that.
Have you been spending time with Musatress? So that's an out-of-character question.
So the last time I met Musatress was when she...
Musatress is the leader of the Order,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you've all had your encounters with her. She tends to be quite diffident and quite distant.
She's the one that reveals.
Yes.
Yeah. She knows a lot of things.
Right. Do you think we're in a cult? Do you think I brought you here to be in a cult? Because that's bad. That's really bad. I'm really sorry about that.
That's okay. I mean, it's not, is it? It's not really okay. We could be in a cult. I mean, we go out and we do things that we're told, and we don't really get told much about what they are. So.
And we don't really ask any questions.
No.
And then there's kind of like weird glowing crystal stuff.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Crystals.
I mean, I don't get a lot of this. I
can see.
Okay.
Crystals and cults kind of go together. No.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you would probably know more about that.
I've not been here very long.
Oh, how long have you been here?
Like 7 months.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But like this is exactly the same as what I used to do, but just they pay me more.
They pay you?
Did you not negotiate?
No.
You could have asked for anything, literally anything.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah, I knew that.
No, seriously, like they pay me like 4 times what I would earn elsewhere.
Mhm. Well, I get information about my past, so that's a win, I suppose.
Like what?
I don't really know. Like, apparently
It
I'm
doesn't
kind
sound like good information.
Well, I don't know, because I don't know what I am. But it's not really the important.
Felicity Jones, the luckiest girl in the world.
I am the luckiest girl in the world. Sometime it will work.
Just to be clear, Felicity has the luck feat because she's lucky and it never works.
Never works.
Never works.
Never works. I don't know. I've been wanting to go and talk to Musatress for a while.
Do you think you could get me in?
Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Can I just wash my face?
Yeah, the restroom will be coming around in about a minute.
Very well, good. Cogwin, anything particular doing individually or together?
I've got my ledger.
You got the ledger
Way
from
more good
the
spending
casino.
the last kind of few days at ours, we've been having like a montage.
If it's the same night as when...
Okay, well the montage is starting then. Because it's all very much like she's going through the book, she's drinking the tea from the teacup of augury, trying to get a sense of... She's doing some divination spells.
Yes.
She's going through like the evidence she's collected over the years about things she's noticed. Because Waywalkers hasn't trusted the Order since she joined them.
Well, yeah, you're a double agent.
Yeah.
Triple,
so like Waywalker's
I'm
constantly...
not sure anymore.
So Waywalker's just doing her own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just going through all the kind of the notes she's made. I imagine she's got like a kind of Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia style board with like.
You did this in about half an hour?
She's very good. She's very good. And also, no, she's started this for a while.
Yeah, okay.
Like she's been piecing things together about it because like she's been actively working against them for a long time.
Okay. What have you already pieced together? I'm just going to allow that. What would you say Waywalker has already pieced together without the ledger? Let's start.
Without the ledger.
Mm.
Because obviously Waywalker's seen things that Vic hasn't seen. So can I roll for things?
Yeah, I'd say so. Roll an
Because I don't know what. Because Waywalker would be keeping an eye out, but I don't know what she would have seen at that time.
Let's have an investigation check.
Investigation.
Yes, please.
Oh, that's not very good stuff for me.
First roll.
Oh no, that's good. That's
nice.
22.
22.
Yeah.
So far, what you know. The Order travel through portals to deal with Cthulhu energy outbursts, or if they're asked to help.
Yeah.
That's pretty obvious, that's pretty clear. How these portals are made, i.e. the fact that you can create a portal within the crystal that is in the centre of the Nexus, and then open it and connect it to another random portal elsewhere in the multiverse, is not only rare, it's exceedingly odd.
Okay.
Portals generally have like one here, and bloop. That's how they
Just a bit
work.
of red string next to portal? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
There you go. you also are aware that the Order collects people. New members aren't exactly like vetted or hired. They are brought in because they either start to work out the Order exists, or because they have a skill set the Order needs. Like, you do know that there are people, even people sat on this very sofa out of context, that have abilities that the Order find useful and therefore use in that context. So there is a sort of strange, where do these people come from? How does the Order find these people? Are these people the Order have placed somewhere and then picking up again is something that you're starting to think might happen more often than not?
Okay, so like they're seeded into the world.
Maybe, yes.
Interesting.
Because the portals, as you have also gathered, aren't just through space, they're also through time.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. I would say with the 22, it's also fair for you to have clicked that everything about this is Katalu is bad.
Yeah.
Katalu is bad, needs to get taken care of, needs to be dealt with. So wherever we can find bits we can deal with, we go and deal with them. They don't seem to bother with anything else.
Are we the baddies?
We've got 3.5 hours left, Anna. Katalu is the only thing they consider worthy of their time and attention, yet they have the ability to do things that would fundamentally change the multiverse, and yet the focus is entirely on dealing with one thing.
And how much do I know about Katalu?
Katalu is an ancient evil.
Yeah.
It exists on many planes of existence and many concepts of a tentacular creature that likes to reach through reality and destroy. It is a destructive force.
But is it the only one? Like, because if it's the biggest bad that could possibly be the only threat to the entire universe, I kind of get the prioritising. If it's just one of several things that could be a threat,
Well,
then it gets more interesting of why they're focusing on that one.
well, there comes the interesting question. Are there other evil things? Are there things not connected to Katalu that are
there's
evil?
me.
Precisely. Is it as simplistic as going everything evil must be based on this, or are there others? You don't know, but you're smart enough as a character and with that role to go, there must be other evil things. There must be other bad things.
Yeah.
Is Katalu really the only problem?
Yeah.
Intriguing.
Interesting. And the ledger.
Well, that is a different role because this is your starting point.
Okay.
With that in mind, augury you said you were going to do. Let's do that first.
Okay.
So you took a teacup of augury. That's
Yeah,
fine
I'm
by
looking
me.
forward to it. At the moment, the question I'm asking
Yes.
is very simple.
Yes.
It is, if I destroyed the Order, would that be good or bad?
Don't forget the teacup of augury connects you to Promethean, a creature who is your patron and is also connected quite heavily to Katalu.
I know.
So the answer is yes, burn it all down,
No.
frankly.
No. Because I guess, okay, I'll refine it to be bad for the common man, the average person in this world. The average person going their life, is it better or worse if the Order is gone?
The result is inconclusive.
That itself is quite telling.
Do you want to examine the ledger
I
as
would
well?
like to go through the ledger. I'm very interested in why Promethean's into money laundering now.
I forget. This is the ledger from.
This is the ledger
the
that
fish-
Waywocket found in the casino of
Yes.
the fish people in
Yeah.
the last live episode.
Yeah, shortly before starting a communist revolution.
Everyone talked like that.
Yeah.
I'll do it again.
So, because what I saw, there were large amounts of money going out to a figure called K.
Correct.
We can draw our own conclusions from. So, what role is this?
This is an investigation check on the ledger itself.
16.
16. The ledger details, in quite exacting detail, how this casino is used primarily to raise money. Casinos raise money.
That's
It's quite
what
easy
they
for them
do,
to do, yeah. It also appears that this ledger in particular is cataloguing how money is brought in from various sources, and almost as if it's expected to come in, i.e. an amount of money is paid to something, and then that same amount of money reappears in its exactitude later to be paid in again. So,
Sorry, just to clarify that.
Yes.
So that's, I'm not an economics person.
that's okay.
As in, it's almost like direct deposit. It's like something in the same amount of money every time, or money
you
is coming in, going through the system, and coming out the same amount later on.
What you will see on one side of the ledger is money being spent on, it's not clear specifically, but things like assets that might be used, weapons, armour, all sorts of like practical things that a cosmic group of interplanetary fighters might need, is being spent.
By the casino. By us.
Not by you, being spent on this ledger. Someone is spending it, not
Okay.
clear who.
Yeah.
On the other side, that same amount of money is always coming back in, normally through use. Normally the line is just casino or a name is given. That money is coming back in and then
The
goes
exact amount.
the exact amount.
So we're buying. It looks like we're buying assets from Catalu.
Yes, it's exactly what it looks like.
Is this a balance sheet?
Yes.
Looks like Catalu's funding. Will can make that exact sound as she clicks it. That's interesting. Okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a lot of these, so
That's fine.
I'll pass on.
Cogwin,
Hi.
what's happening in Cogwin Town?
Well, Cogwin, since the adventure at the museum,
Yes.
at
Which was the second to last live show.
yes, at which he was told, or hinted at least, that Wasatris, that was the name he was told, was not necessarily in charge of things at the Order.
Yep.
And that's been rattling around his mind. However, Cogwin's not really... He's very, very clever, but he's an inventor, not an investigator.
Yes.
So he doesn't really know how to put his mind to investigate anything. So he's figured that the best thing he needs to do is do some reading.
Yep.
Understand things. However, he's never actually been the best reader. He only gets sort of maybe half a chapter into any book and then sort of gets it, because they're normally books on mechanics, and then just runs with it and then comes up with something by the end that might well in fact be cleverer than the ideas in the book.
Mhm.
However, this isn't mechanics. So he's got really bogged down in whatever he's been able to find about the Order, either its official history, anything he's been able to find, and he's not the most investigative person, so as I say, he's probably not found much, it's very secret. And I would like to say that he's been, for the last however amount of time, been trying to perfect a speed reading machine.
Wow.
Consume information much quicker than he possibly could, and therefore feed it back to him in a very efficient clockwork manner.
Roll a tinker check.
Nice, Tom.
Cool. Is that my Arcana as tinker for me, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And you add a 10 to the roll because...
Because,
Because Cogwin.
well, it's a 14.
Shit, really?
Yeah. Cogwin.
You've managed to put together something that will effectively magnify the page that you're reading. And you've managed to put together something that will turn pages for you.
Mm-hmm.
What you haven't quite reached is a point where it actually processes and recycles data.
Yeah.
So what you've got is basically a very elaborate reading machine.
Yep. Which is exactly what I wanted to build. Just,
Yep.
This is version 1.
What book are you reading?
What book would I have come across?
Where are you looking for books?
Around the Nexus.
Okay.
So he would have started with, because again, to reiterate, he's not really ever been that interested in what the Order is, so he probably would have started with the official history of the Order insofar as that exists.
Doesn't exist.
Great. What does he find?
What are you looking for?
The history of the Order.
Where do you look?
Well, there is a library in this place, isn't there?
No.
Oh. Where would he look for books, Chris?
There is a section where you know a lot of wizards. It's mostly around Wasatris' office, where there are a lot of wizards and people who work together to clearly try and divine what's happening in the wider world. You don't know a huge amount about what they do. They leave books lying around.
Okay.
They're not particularly secretive about them. You could easily pick one or two of them up.
Yep. And he just goes and does that.
Cool, run an investigation check.
Oh, 12.
12. You just walking through this office while people are absolutely going, just do the sort of, excuse me, do you mind if I buy that? Oh yeah. And you just take the book, put it down in the reader and just start going through it. It is a detailed analysis of how planar energy interlocks and combines. Primarily what it is looking at is how it seems that planes of existence have the ability to be contiguous. There are certain parts of one plane and another plane that almost overlap, and if there is any kind of weakness in the fabric of reality, stepping through them becomes relatively easy. This is how the idea of portals was clearly deduced and worked out. At which point, cleverer magic users than you, well, you're not a magician, but, you know, people who work with magic, managed to discover ways to use that that tear in reality to work out that, aha, that's how mathematically that fits together. Ergo, if we do the same thing here and here, we can also create that. And it looks like that concept of how portals work is widespread across various other races and other planes of existence. People have found that it seems to be quite common, if you will. However, what this book also starts to postulate on, which it gets a bit fanciful, and you're a bit like, well, sure, whatever, is things like, well, if planes aren't contiguous or even coterminous, what on earth is that portal going through? Are planes being shifted together? Or, as it goes on for quite a long time, is there some space between worlds where nothing really exists? Like, vacuum of space is thrown out there. Would people be able to live there, etc.? But it's all very sort of like flights of fancy now. Yeah.
Alright, Cogwin has been intensely distracted by this and is now obsessed. He's actually probably almost completely forgotten about why he started doing this. And he now wants to build a machine that can create portals the same way those clever magic users did. So
Okay.
he's like, he's now in his workshop and he will have been working on that. Like, he will still have the notes. The speed reading machine will be loyally just turning pages.
But no one's reading it! Oh!
Literally the dog from Up. Screw
And he's trying to... He's exploring both on a blackboard and with actual tiny objects, building something that could open tears and things.
Cool. Okay. You two are going to see Researchers.
Okay, hang on. Right. Okay. So I might not be able to get in, right? But what do you want to know?
What I really want to know is, I'm supposed to have a god?
Okay.
Like, people are supposed to talk to me?
Mm-hmm.
That's never happened.
Explain that a little bit for those who don't know what that's
Sorry,
about.
Asimar traditionally are kind of half angel people.
And you certainly look and have movement like an Asimar, that is true.
Traditionally, they have a guide who sort of gives them instructions from their god, and they also would know who their god is. Char has no idea of either of those things, apart from that she's been told about Asimar.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's all brand new information to me, and I didn't know that people could speak to gods. Weird. But they don't speak to you. I mean, they don't speak to me. Why would they? No. Okay.
Because I'm half of them.
Of what?
I don't know, some god thing.
Okay.
Can we
Brand new information. Yeah.
Can we nip into my room so I can just get my new armour?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. What
Which
does
one?
your room look like?
Meticulously clean, serial killer level clean. There are files on the shelf that, if you look closely, have people from the Order's names on them.
Is my name on there?
Yep.
I'm going to do a stealth check or a
Please
sleight
do.
of hand check
Please do.
to try and grab this.
There's no need for a stealth check. You're in the room, and Char is aware that you're in the
I'm just
room.
going to do a sleight of hand check to
Please.
see if I can grab it without her noticing.
What's your passive perception?
Please be shit. Please be shit.
14?
14.
No, that's a 10.
You can have a look if you want.
And she just grabs it and opens it up. What's in there?
It's notes on your fighting style. Observations on how you think.
And what? Pray tell, what do you think of Felicity?
Okay, I haven't gone into that much detail, but I can think about
I
it
can
later.
probably tell you what
Is
it
it
says in there if you like.
complimentary or is it not? Is basically what I'm asking.
Sorry?
Is it complimentary or is it not?
It's a study of how someone would best fight you. It's a study of how best to defeat you if she had to go after you.
Right, Batman in the Watchtower, Jesus.
You're wrong. I don't do that.
You do.
And I also don't.
You do.
No.
I'm very good at my job.
It's more of the you think you don't do that, and if you
No, I know.
I think I do that.
No, she's entirely like, I do that, but I'm trying. I'm like, fuck you.
Does Have relies too heavily on her lucky feet in there somewhere?
That's really observant. Okay.
It's fastening on my breastplate
Yeah.
over the top of the jumpsuit.
Nice.
I'm gonna take this.
I'll just write it out again.
I know. I'm gonna take this for me so I can get better.
Goodbye.
Okay. Cool.
What does your new breastplate look like?
It's a tray from the kitchen
That doesn't really.
that she's kind of like moulded to not have boobs, but it is like moulded to her body a little bit more and has like straps.
You know, you can requisition one, that's totally fine.
I know, but I haven't had time.
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
What are you wearing? That's.
This is what I normally wear when I practice with the rapier, just in case.
It's very niche. Okay.
I haven't had a chance to talk to Ickle about getting a new one, and this is the best that I could make on my own.
Cool. Okay, so what's up, Chris? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we could either go and try and speak to her, or we could just. You're a rogue. I'm a rogue. We could probably.
She knows the future.
Stop it! It's just slow down just to anywhere. That's true.
Why don't we just go say hello?
Yeah, alright.
We could sneak though for fun.
Horatio.
We tried that before.
Who won?
You won.
Right, Horatio. And she just darts off in stealth.
If you're trying to be stealthy, I won't bother being stealthy. I'll just go because that's faster.
As you start sneaking down the corridor, Char just runs past you.
I want to roll off.
Fine, yeah. Roll off on athletics or acrobatics. Your call for whether you're just pounding the pavement or
If
you're
I
trying
see
to
you doing that, I'll just stop it. I thought we were trying to stealth him.
roll athletics or acrobatics.
16.
Can I have advantage? Because
23.
I wasn't trying to be sneaky.
23.
That's an 8.
Char, you start running and Felicity just runs past you, realising what you're doing, and is a little bit faster than you.
In that case, I just start strolling.
No, Felicity has a goal, she's going to do it.
We've established before there is a strange pulley-based lift system, more to do with like the internal workings of a clock than actually a lift that you can step inside to get to the divination room where Batarch's office is. You are standing in front of it. Felicity gets there first.
I walk up later.
Hey!
It's a good look, all the red.
Yeah. Cool.
Should we get the lift?
Yeah, sure.
We are getting the lift.
Yeah, we're getting the lift.
They lift up. Excellent. Wait, okay, are you still in your room just piecing everything together? Are you thinking about doing anything else?
I have got a theory I want to test out.
Okay.
And in the interest of getting the members of the party together, I'm going to go find Cogwin.
Mm-hmm. Cogwin is, as Cogwin always is, in his workshop. I think that's perfect. Yeah.
Which is also where you
Actually, I don't knock, I just walk in.
I don't knock.
Hello? Yes?
How's tricks?
Trick? It's not a trick, just complex series of illusions.
Is that the Mark 7?
No. The Mark 7 is a little bit old hat at the moment. No, we're up to the Mark 9. It's hanging over there. No, this is something a bit more exciting. It's to do with the tears and the portals and the... Yes. Can I help? Hello. Oh, wait, Walkie. Hello.
You said portals.
Yes.
What do you know about portals?
Not as much as I would like. There's a book. There's a machine. I'm trying to build a machine, and it's all possible. We knew it was possible because we can do it. But I think it could be more efficient way to do it. Mainly because I'd be doing it.
Well, I mean, through gods, all things are possible.
I'm a woman.
I'm saying through gods, all things are possible.
There is no god but the machine. We know that. We've had this conversation before you killed my cat.
I forgot it. I was bringing him to say hello.
Yeah. Deus Ex Catina, Waywalkett's cat, is a cat split in half.
Used to be my cat.
Yeah, half of it is a robot, half of it is a cat, so its meow is a little bit...
Didn't kill him. I improved him. You may say he's the Mark II of a cat.
Cogwin actually likes that.
Cogwin purr.
Alright.
Anyway, portals aside. I mean, portals not aside. Portals are important. Portals are important.
If you're trying to have a conversation with Cogwin, it is going to be like you're going to be walking through a labyrinthine like
That's
series
okay.
of shelves and things.
It's all gnome sized. It's fine.
It's all the same size. Picking up like spanners and things that he doesn't quite need yet.
Yeah. I know. I was wondering if I could borrow you for an experiment. Actually.
Borrow me?
For an experiment. It's not medical. It's more psychological.
I think that's worse actually.
Well,
right.
it's just. How much do you remember of your childhood, Cogwin, or your life?
Well, childhood's part of life, isn't it?
Well, yes, I suppose the entire thing.
Well, a lot of bits of metal, a lot of playing around, toys, I call it then, and then now sort of university, now here, yes.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
It's not born.
I think it is.
I'm going to have to roll history on where I'm from. I've rolled a 17.
Where are you from, Cogwin?
Estonia, yes.
The fact that was such a struggle does not bode well for my next question. Do you remember anything strange happening to you when you were younger? The first memory you have, maybe, how you first remember Estonia?
Well, people were very rude to me. But I learned that wasn't actually very strange.
Not really what I'm getting at, though, is it?
I don't know, what are you getting at, excuse me? Mind out.
It's to do with portals, really.
I like that word. What's...
The portals here, they go through space, but they go through time as well.
Do they?
Yes, they can do.
How do you know that? Where's the proof?
To be honest, as with many things, it does require a little faith.
Roll a history check.
Natural 20!
Yay!
You both went on a mission to a museum that was established to you guys. 5 years had passed for you two, 100 years had passed for them.
Right, yeah, you see, remember we went to the thing that had the thing, and the times had passed, and there were different passes, and we went back in time or something.
It was actually 6 months.
6 months, I apologise.
But that just means that the time passed at a different rate in that plane to the one that we were coming from, doesn't it? It doesn't mean that the portal travelled... What is it?
Sets everything on
My
fire.
point is, we're either unstuck from time, or we've got the ability to travel through it. Both the intriguing possibilities, but here's my thing. I think the Order doesn't just headhunt its staff. I think it cultivates them. I think
Cultivates.
it grows them. It places them into the world and makes sure they live the right kind of lives and acquire the right kind of skills, and then picks them back up later on. I think everyone here is just seeds.
Cogwin Spackle Span. I'm not... what are those? The turnip. Not some turnip that a low-brow turnip eater would eat, presumably.
I mean, you're really honing in on the turnip thing here. There's lots of other parts you could be. You could be a chrysanthemum.
Say that again.
Chrysanthemum?
Chrysanthemum?
I was at school with a chrysanthemum.
Yes. Okay, I'm a swamp gnome. I guess I'm kind of algae. I don't know.
What was your point?
I want to try something, and this is slightly up to you, Chris.
Yes.
My channel divinity read thoughts thing.
Yes.
With the presence of all this nice clockwork, and
Yes.
could it work as a sort of hypnotherapy to try and get back into someone's earliest memories? And see if they... I'm going to basically try and see if I can get back to the point where Cogwin was implanted into the world. No, hopefully like that point, but the point that if to see if the Order placed him into the world when he was younger, or he had any interaction with someone from the Order when he was younger.
You know what? I'm fucking intrigued. Go for it.
Now you're going to have to trust me. And by that
You're
I
going to
mean...
have to close your eyes for a moment.
That would help.
272 unsuccessful.
Are you trying to... What are you trying to do?
The portals and the tears.
You're trying to build a portal.
Build a machine that can
Well,
make portals.
you need to change that a bit.
How do you know?
Because I'm a genius as well.
But aren't you to do with the...
Yes, which is why I can tell you that someone going through that would lose half their skin before getting out the other side.
Only half.
Well, I suppose they could go through.
Yes, that's what I have.
Meanwhile, in the lift, it's just...
She's about to hypnotherapize him. I want to do this.
No, I just meant like, meanwhile, that's happening, it's just the lift.
Okay, I would like to get out a pocket watch.
Oh my god.
Fair, yeah.
Which we absolutely have. Okay, then you don't have to trust me, but trust me.
The Sigmund way.
Trust me in mechanical terms means fail a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Please.
It's entirely up to you.
Why?
Don't you want to know if your life was your own, or if you were just being tended like some kind of turnip? Or chrysanthemum?
I am not a turnip. I take off my goggles.
That gnome said that Sartre wasn't in charge. I think I'm starting to understand who might be.
Oh, that's what I was trying to read about. And then I like pull a lever, and this entire workbench just like, and another barely touched one with loads of books on it. Hello, I'm so sorry. Why am I talking to you? I'm not good at this.
Okay, just
Look how well the
Just
bench is
Conway?
moved. All right.
you are getting sleepy.
No, I'm not.
Too bad, no. Okay, it usually just works like this. And I will try and do channel divinity, read thoughts.
And I will fail the wisdom save. Yeah.
Excellent. You
As it
read.
begins-
At
Think
first,
back as far as you can.
at first, it does what you absolutely expect it to. You read his surface thoughts. What are Cogwin's surface thoughts?
Oh wow.
The bench.
Portals are really interesting, though. I really hope I can do something with portals. And then again, the stuff is yes. The gnome said about sorry, the gnome's very clever. The gnome does all those things. They're very clever things. Lots of animatronic things, clockwork things that go into portals. No, back on. With Sartre, yes. Why is if she's not in charge, then who is?
Okay, you can now guide his thoughts.
Um,
I'm allowing you to use this in a slightly different way
Okay.
to guide his
yeah,
thoughts.
so I'm.
Therefore, you'll not get to cast a suggestion spell at the end of it.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Because yes, you can now do
I
that and you
basically
also
just
fail
try
it.
and take him back through his memories.
Go on, do it live.
I
Just tell me what you want to do. Do it.
think about, I'm trying to think feasibly of how early it would be. I'll start with university.
Describe your time at university.
Busy. Happy. Lots of people. That was there. But they had these
What did you study?
everything.
Did you learn mechanics there?
Yes.
Too late. They already got you. By the back.
I was a child prodigy.
What was the first machine you built? How old were you?
7 months.
7 months.
It squeezed a bottle.
Okay, I'm thinking around that time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go 6 months before, 6 months after, either thinking that would... He either did that because the order already had got to him and put the idea of him becoming an engineer in his head, or it was that leverage that attracted the order to him afterwards.
Interesting.
So I'm going both sides
Okay.
in directions. And thinking about the people you met who came to see you, strange things, strange dreams, reoccurring dreams.
What would characterise them?
Green.
Is this the point where I roll history?
Yes, please.
14.
You remember, and it is a strange memory because it's one you haven't accessed for a while, and the pathways to it have become somewhat distorted, I'm afraid. So accessing it is quite difficult, but with Waywalker's help you are accessing a part of your mind. You were always good with machines, from a young age. It's just something you've always been good at. You remember making this first machine, but before you even made it, you were having ideas of how to make machines. You were seeing how things fit together. You were less of a, take it all apart. You were more of a, well, that bit goes into that bit, goes into that bit, and makes that thing, and that's really useful. Like, you were working out basic levers and basic pendulum mechanics systems when you were, like, your brain is going, you were doing this when you were very young. Like, to a point where prodigy is probably an understatement. Almost like you were always good at this. Almost like your mind works in mechanical ways that other people's minds don't work. You have very vivid images of your mother and father, especially at that age. And as you're thinking of them, you start to realise that for you, for some reason, they look like their machines. It's a little odd because it's a memory, but also clouded by your imagination, which does tend to move in this direction and by time. So even with this hypnotherapeutic connection, you're not quite able to go, that's what happened, but you are starting to get these images that make your parents look almost like machines.
Can I, in that moment that I come across that, can I do what Cogwin would try to do?
Yes.
And deconstruct them in his head?
Yes.
Like if they come across like machines, then he's going to go, right, is that a hinge on the shoulder? How does that work?
Roll your Arcana check.
Come on.
I cast guidance.
What do I get for that?
You're already in the middle of channeling divinity and concentrating on it.
Okay.
That said, Arcana is 13.
These are machines designed to create other machines.
I've never had a dream. Not once. I thought they were a story. Like a daydream. I have daydreams, of course they look at me, but they're recurring or otherwise. No, I never had a... But that would make sense, I think.
Cogwin.
Yes.
Have you ever imagined anything that wasn't a machine?
Have I? No.
I keep thinking about your reading machine in the corner there. About your suit. And everything you've built and how it's all designed for one purpose.
Which is?
I think you're designed for one purpose.
Well, obviously they did a very good job.
Do you mind if I'm gonna take out my scalpel?
Sure.
This is going to hurt.
that was taken as read. What are you going to do? What is this?
Do you want to know what you want? I'm going to make a medicine check.
Sure.
Is he flesh and bone? Is he machine?
Roll medicine check.
17.
He's a rock gnome.
Through and through.
You cut him, he bleeds.
Yes, I have hurt myself over the years. I didn't think
I
I
was
was...
going. But of course...
You gonna do anything about this? I have this special class.
Oh, God!
Do what you gotta do. But of course...
Seal within 3 weeks.
God build us all like machines.
God's build us all.
Well, if we are created by gods, they can stitch us together any way they want. Anyway,
Are we finished with my head?
it's terribly interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
I wonder, did you see anyone else there?
In my memories?
Yes, if they built you, I wonder if they built anyone else.
No, I was an only child. And my whole experience, everything, school, university, I was the best. The only one in my league.
Like you were designed for it. The good news is, that was only my appetizer of exciting news. Because...
Let's pause there.
Oh, good.
You're in the elevator going up, you arrive. You've seen this room before, it's a lot of desks, a lot of what look like wizards, often casting magic and looks like their eyes glazing over for a second. They're all casting divining spells. You've seen this before, you know what it is.
Hey!
You're right, hello.
They're really dull.
They're really nice people.
They're really.
You've got to make friends with everybody. Hey, Jeff.
You're right. Nice to see you, Felicity.
Yeah,
Having a
let's
good
see.
time? Yeah, it's good, yeah.
Is Cal around?
You know one person.
I know
Hey, Sandra.
several people.
Hi. Hi, Felicity.
I'm definitely not sleeping with all of them.
Okay, are you trying to show off? I
No.
feel like you're trying to show off.
No, I feel like you're trying to show off by how much you know everybody.
Yeah,
Why?
it's great. They're amazing people.
They sit here and do divination spells all day, every day.
Yeah.
They never kill anybody.
Okay, we need to talk about what you think is sexy and healthy, because that's not healthy if you think that, you know what, fine.
You're walking up towards the clockwork that you know is a door that needs to be opened and closed to get to a Cyrus's office. You're walking up to the slightly raised platform that reaches it. Who are you waiting to, sorry?
This one was Billy.
Billy!
Yeah.
Oh, hi! Nice to see you!
How are the divination spells going?
Oh, really well, really well. I've started doing the arcane eye now, floating around like an entirely different planet.
So nice
It's super
to see
exciting.
you.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
She's awful.
I've never met
I know,
her.
right? She's
She walks through. She's always very
do
striking.
you not sleep with her?
No.
Cool, it's not everybody. Okay.
No, I didn't say everybody. I said everybody I know.
You said it in that way.
Billy's sort of looking around and going, is everyone sleeping with her or I'm not?
Oh, Billy!
Because
No.
she's hot. Oh, it's just that sort of moment. You are approaching the door.
Okay, this normally just opens.
I know I've been here. Is it opening?
Nope.
Is there anything to knock on?
It's a door.
And there's one knock on the door. You know we were coming, like, come on, let us in.
Unless she doesn't want to talk to us and so she's not here. Does the door have a lock?
Well, it's an interlocking set of gears, so arguably, yes. It has many locks.
I don't think we're going to be able to get through it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We could go find someone who might be able to find her though.
You-
Guys, has anyone seen Wasatris?
Billy?
Door opens.
Go through.
That was embarrassing.
It's from inside. I know.
Yeah, we were
Do you
walking.
know, I just don't feel embarrassment, really.
Is she stepping into the office?
Yeah.
You've been in Miss Archer's
I
office
forget,
before.
is Wasatris my auntie?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The office is a dome shape. It isn't quite as clockworky as the rest. It appears to be an entirely separate unit. And it appears to move a lot less than the other pieces do. So it's quite still and quite calm. There is a desk. Everything is in shades of metal. Metal? Metal.
I
I was going to say metallic and then it became metal.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the new paint colour for
Yeah.
the season.
It is. What is the one for this? I can't remember. Anyway, it's metal desk that there are sort of...
Coral.
Thank you, it's coral. Yes, yeah. Living coral, that's right. But yes, it's all marble where there is other bits of stone and things like that. It's all very white and very pure. And Wasatris is sat behind a desk, just idly making some notes on a bit of paper.
So,
You had the question.
how come when I take off this necklace I go unconscious?
That's the way to start the conversation.
Hello.
Good
It's
to see
nice
you,
to see you.
Wasatris.
Yes, hello. Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
I've had a really bad day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She had a really bad date.
That's correct. Yeah.
You knew that though, didn't you? No? You can see the future.
I
But
think
why was
she's-
you looking to a
She's
date?
interested in my love life.
Did you want something?
Yes. How come when I take off this necklace I go unconscious? Do you know?
Yes.
Can you tell me?
No.
Why?
Because you don't know yet.
When is she supposed to know?
Soon, actually.
Great. How
Yeah.
soon?
Like
Oh, relatively. We're just waiting for the others.
Others?
Yes.
Of the Viridescent Order, or
Yes.
okay, is that Billy?
No.
No. Okay, is that? And I'm going through all
Are
the
you going
lists.
to list everyone you know?
I know everybody.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you're integrating.
Oh, what are we supposed to just sit here?
You could do what I do and spend the time pondering thoughts which you haven't thought of the answer yet.
I need to rewrite my Felicity file, so I'll just do that.
Okay.
Hmm.
I have some more questions about me. Am I allowed to know yet? Am I supposed to know yet?
You do know I told you.
Yeah, but you didn't really tell me everything, like where they are or where my mother is.
No.
It's really
Well,
irritating.
It
isn't
really
it?
is. Yeah,
irritating.
it's like stone blood, nothing.
It's like you know, but you won't tell us. Like
Mhm.
we're children that can't know yet. Why?
I don't want to interrupt.
Interrupt who?
With the order of things.
God.
I have
Okay.
certain jobs to fulfill and certain ones I have to let happen.
Which one is this?
Interesting. Sort of both.
Great.
Great. Who are we waiting for?
Oh, Cogwin and Wayrocket.
Can I go and get them?
They'll be here momentarily.
Great.
Fine.
Like our version of
Oh.
momentarily, or your
hello,
version?
monkey. Can you come across to me, please?
With the wires.
Go around here.
You go around there.
Go around here.
Safe route.
Come on. Apologies, this is my fault. Come on, Snuff.
Small man is
Can we
here.
turn this off for a second, please? Can we pause the screen for a second? Is that all right?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Thank you.